Welcome to the Blind Justice Podcast, where you discover the insider secrets of injury and accident cases, and all of your law questions get answered. Now, here's your host, Chicago injury lawyer, Scott DeSalvo.
If you have a Chicago Transit Authority CTA injury case, I'm your guy.
He's your guy. Finger guns.
We're doing the question and answer thing. So people send in questions, we answer them. Today's question is about injury on the CTA. CTA like bus crash or something?
No, thank you. I don't want that.
No.
Pass.
I'm sure that's what...
Hard pass.
You know they don't decide to have the accident beforehand, right?
They don't?
That's why it's an accident.
I'm so glad I'm here with the lawyer because this is news to me.
That's the first thing we learned the whole first year. It was a difficult concept for me to master.
Yeah, we have
What about accident don't you understand, DeSalvo?
I don't get it. I don't get it.
So yeah, people, a lot of people have similar questions, and we try and answer them on the show. So,
I have a question I could ask you.
What's your question?
This is not me. This is one of our...
Oh, you're ready to answer the question.
Oh,
or you're
you
ready
not?
to ask the question.
I mean, I'm guns a-blazing.
Now it's
ready.
awkward. Now it's...
Oh.
By all
I'm gonna
means...
sink away into my
shoot.
chair.
Oh, get out of here. You,
Okay, bye.
Hey, thanks for listening.
See ya. Siri reads your...
That's
iPlus
called a
update.
cliffhanger. Tune in next week when we answer the question. Amelia, take it away.
All right. I was on a CTA bus, and the bus was involved in a crash with a car. I do not know whose fault it was, but it was a major impact, and I was thrown out of my seat. I went to my family doctor the next day because my back started hurting, and now I am on medication and in therapy. I called the CTA, but they will not tell me any information about the other driver. What can I do?
Yeah, so I get a lot of calls about CTA crashes. Some of the cases we can take and recover on. Some of them we can't. This actually sounds like a pretty good case because just like when you're a passenger in a car, if you're a passenger in a vehicle and two vehicles collide, we know that you're not at fault because you're not operating either of the vehicles.
Yeah.
So it's either the bus driver's fault, aka the CTA,
Right.
or it's the other car's fault or other truck's fault, or a combination of the two. So that part I like, but it's an interesting question because, CTA has this claims line. It's a toll-free number that they encourage people who are injured on the CTA to call. But what I've discovered from talking to lots of people who are injured on the CTA is it's a one-way information street. They ask you questions, you provide them information, but when it comes time for them to provide you any information you might need, they tend not to cooperate, which is...
Who's surprised?
Yeah, shocking.
Huh.
But, the funny thing about it is that in this circumstance, it would work to the CTA's benefit to give you the police report number and the name of the other driver and the other driver's insurance, because maybe we investigate the claim and we don't sue the CTA.
Yeah.
Like if there's witnesses who say, yeah, the other driver T-boned the bus was on a through street, the other driver disobeyed a stop sign. Well, why in the world would we sue the CTA? So it's an example of where one of those circumstances where if the CTA was willing to cooperate with you, you maybe would not make a claim against them. But all is not lost. When we have a situation, this comes up in Uber cases too. So
really?
If somebody's a passenger in an Uber, for some reason it seems like Uber's policy is don't cooperate with the injured person at all.
Well, that's shady.
So you can be in an Uber, you get rear-ended while you're a passenger in an Uber. Uber knows who rear-ended you.
Right.
They have the police report number. They know the guy's insurance, but they won't give it to you. So similar situation.
Bizarre.
But all is not lost. The name of the game here is that we get a case like this signed up in my office and we file a lawsuit. Now the advantage of that is the minute we file the lawsuit, we have subpoena power, meaning once there's a lawsuit, I can issue a subpoena either for a deposition of a person, question and answer session, or I can send a subpoena for documents. And I can just say, look, I want your police report, the claim number,
Right.
name and address. I want this, I want that. I want any correspondence.
Right.
I want any internal and then if they don't give it to me within 28 days or 30 days, I can go into court and drag them into court and they can explain to the judge why they are not honoring the court's authority to force them to produce those materials. So usually once you file a lawsuit, it gets things moving pretty quickly. So the police report's important because it tells us the driver and the owner of the car, and it also tells us the auto insurance on the car, right? Mm-hmm. So now we know who we need to contact to open a claim and the policy number and all that stuff. So at the end of the day, I think the reason Uber and CTA provide no cooperation is because by having that stonewalling tactic, a lot of lay people will give up, right? They'll just say, I called them 6 times, I called them 8 times, and they won't tell me.
Yeah.
Or, even with a lawyer, like the lawyer can't, less experienced lawyers will be like, well, I'm not going to spend $500 or $600 on a lawsuit if I don't even know whose fault it is or whether anybody's at fault, right?
Yeah.
So some lawyers will look at a case like that, can't get the information, they drop it, right? So I understand rationally why they might be doing it, but it's a crummy thing to do. But even if you're in this circumstance, it's not like all hope is lost. There's ways for us to get this information, and if it's a case, great. If it's not a case, at least you'll have the peace of mind of knowing that it's been properly investigated, right?
Yeah.
This sounds like a case to me. If I were you, I'd definitely call a lawyer to talk about it. Obviously, I'm available, but call whomever you like. Just make sure they're nice to you and they explain things to you.
So
make sense?
So Scott DeSalvo, he's not saying it, so I'll say it. I'll point out the big elephant in the room. So disappointed.
I think she's making jokes about my weight again, folks.
Oh my God.
It's so hurtful.
Oh my God. I want to know.
I'm kidding.
That's hilarious.
Folks, thank you for listening.
Funny dude.
And
where's the laugh track?
If you guys have any, I don't know. I used to have one. I don't know. Now I just have like
Don't you know who I am?
That's my favorite, Christopher
Walken.
Where's that? Oh, this is...
How's your law practice?
Not too good. I only got the one client.
That's Paul Newman from The Verdict.
I only got the one client.
Here's my favorite quote from that movie.
All I want on this trial was a fair shake. I'm going up there, I'm going to try it, I'm going to let the jury decide.
Yeah.
Gotta love Paul Newman in The Verdict.
Yeah.
Folks, thanks for listening. If you have a question, please submit it. If you want a free consultation about your case, give me a call at 888-HURT-318. Thanks for listening, and have a great day.
Take it easy.
Thanks for listening. I truly hope that the information in the podcast helps you no matter the situation you find yourself in. But you might need more answers or some more direct help. So there are 3 ways for you easily to find out more and to get help. If you call my toll-free 24-hour helpline, 888-HURT-318, you'll have a couple of options. 888-HURT-318 is my toll-free 24-hour telephone line. You can call that number and speak with my team night or day. First, you can call 888-HURT-318, and you can speak to me for a free consultation about your case or situation. That's always free and no obligation. Second, you can tell the operator that you'd like a free copy of my injury DVD and book. I created the DVD and book, and I give it away for free to injured people who need answers, but who might not be ready to talk to a lawyer yet. Same deal, 100% free, 100% no obligation. Third and finally, you can check out my YouTube channel for informative videos about the injury case and claims process, or check out my other podcasts for more information and interesting interviews with people who know different things about various aspects of the law. I've put all of this together to help you and to answer your questions. Now, you can also help me, and I hope that you will. If you enjoyed the podcast and if it helped you at all, please subscribe, and if you can, take a minute and please post a positive review of the show. If you're listening to the podcast on YouTube, like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you know anyone who might enjoy the podcast, please spread the word and share it on Facebook. It's my mission to spread good information to as many people as possible, and your liking and reviewing and subscribing to the podcast helps me get the word out. Thanks again. This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It doesn't substitute for consulting with a lawyer. If you have a case, speak with a lawyer right away.